So we had a really interesting discussion around both fintech in general, but also particularly from my point of view, like the UK offer in fintech. So obviously the sector's growing massively. There's lots of subsectors within fintech. In the UK, we think we've got a really appealing offer. We've got the talent, we've got the capital, and also crucially, we've got the regulatory environment where fintech companies can really grow. So my big pitch today was trying to encourage US fintech firms to come over to the UK and grow their businesses there, develop their businesses there, and use that as a place for global expansion.
So I found the panel this morning really informative, and I think that some key takeaways really is about the trends in fintech continuing. I think we're going to continue to see a lot of growth, new companies, new opportunities. We're going to see support coming out of agencies, regulators, whether that's a lab, a sandbox. So that's really exciting for a lot of startups. As well as I think that you see a lot of adoption amongst consumers and institutional businesses. And so that adoption and that integration will also be really exciting in the marketplace.
I think one of the most exciting things in financial services is this notion of consumer advocacy, helping consumers make better choices around their money and using technology to enable that, whether that's artificial intelligence or machine learning. And that's a great value to consumers, to feel like they have a champion to help them level the playing field against these monolithic institutions like their bank or their credit card company or their insurance company, who have really done a good job of making money off of the consumer. I think innovation in financial services is really about leveling the playing field.
It's just 2017 is going to be another year in which fintech's just going to keep growing. I think that the potential market for fintech is enormous as a disruptive force, as a way of getting through to consumers and giving consumers more power over their own finances. So I think there's going to be a lot of growth. We're certainly going to try and carry on growing in 2017. London's one of the sort of international hubs for fintech, along with the West Coast in the US and along with the New York area. So we just see continued growth. And we want to carry on making the UK a great place for US fintech firms to come and grow and develop.
Well, I think this is again the year of the consumer. The consumer has incredible choice to not be dependent on their employer for their retirement plan, not be dependent on their bank for their credit card. Able to open up a savings account or an investment account, get financial help from places other than the traditional channels they're accustomed to, like walking into their bank and having some retail banker try to help them with their retirement. Those days are over. Consumers are able to use an infinite number of tools to make better choices. And that's a really exciting thing.
I think what we're going to see is a consolidation. We've already seen that a little bit in 2016, where some of the VC money is drying up a little bit, and that seems to be replaced by money coming in from the banks. So we're going to see consolidation amongst some players and also greater collaboration with the traditional financial services institutions. And you saw that on the panel this morning. Bina Kalola, who's from Bank of America, sitting shoulder to shoulder with people from the Fintech Collective. And we're seeing that in events and industry groups a lot more, where there's just a lot more collaboration between traditionals and fintechs.
I don't know that I would say a bubble per se. I think valuations have pulled in a bit. Valuations are high on the investing side. We have a number of companies continuing to enter this space. So in terms of a bubble, not every company will survive in every niche, and so I think you'll see that natural process happen where companies begin to fall away. I believe that there's a lot of money funding a lot of companies, but now will be the test of delivery on the product, the adoption, a model that actually has client revenue and shows growth from one end of either client adoption or revenue and or products being deployed. And so is it a bubble? I don't think we've quite seen a bubble or a bubble that's going to burst, but I think there's a natural process that will happen.
No, I don't think we're in a fintech bubble. I think some of the areas of fintech, some of the early areas of fintech, like peer-to-peer, maybe has run its course. But no, we are not in a fintech bubble. Fintech has tremendous opportunities in supporting legacy financial institutions, which is where the capital is. And they have tremendous opportunities in meeting regulatory requirements and in helping regulators in their job. And in fact, that I think will be a growth area.
I think we are, to a certain extent, in a fintech bubble. There's certainly the case that we don't need 27 robo-advisors or 27 savings apps. And so I think we are a bit like where with the .com, the promise of fintech, just like the promise of the internet, is very real. And so it's going to change the world of finance, just as the internet changed the world of commerce and retail and industry. But I think in the short term, we're also going to see, as I said before, a lot of consolidation. We're going to see a lot of things shake out, just like we did at the end of the 90s with the .com space, right? So, Amazon, Google, these became the major players. But for every Amazon and Google, there were a lot of pets.com, and we're going to see the same thing happen in fintech.
One of the areas we're really excited about, because we think we have a really strong offer in the UK, is what we would call RegTech. So we have a regulator in the UK, the FCA, which is the sole regulator for the UK. So from a US firm's point of view, it's nice to come over to a country where you've just got to deal with one regulator. And it's a regulator that wants to encourage disruption, wants to encourage fintech. It runs a sandbox that US firms say they enjoy operating in, and it gives them the chance to experiment and to grow. We also have the Bank of England runs a fintech accelerator that's very encouraging a fintech to develop. So, and the contrast with the US, I think, are certainly when I talk to US fintech firms, they say that they welcome the approach that the British regulator takes, and they like trying to develop in the UK. So, RegTech is certainly something that we're trying to push quite hard. We're actually taking we're bringing a group of businesses over from the UK to New York in April for FinTech Week, and there's a big RegTech element to that. So we're looking forward to building on that.
Well, I think this notion of intelligence and artificial intelligence around decision making is incredibly exciting. There's no question that a machine is better at assessing cardiovascular risk than a human. And there's no question the machine is better at assessing credit risk than a human when properly trained. And those types of algorithms and models are being built by lots of innovative companies. And as that ecosystem of intelligence grows across functional elements of the financial services industry, there's going to be an enormous amount of innovation.
Right now, I think the area of fintech with the greatest immediate opportunities comes with this regulatory climate. In fact, I would say that if you wanted to set up a fintech company today, what you should do is find a regulation that's coming down the road and set up some sort of a system to deal with it. You can sell that to the financial institutions, and you can use it yourself. Indeed, you can help the regulator regulate that way.